Hey Sylvia, and whoever is watching, I am going to walk you through making these slides for events. Alrighty, so I'm going to start with the template that I'm going to give you. So what you would do is you would open it up in Photoshop. Now, obviously changing text is very simple. You just need to make sure the layer is highlighted, the text function is selected, and then you can change that to whatever you like. The only little tricky bit is changing out an image. So what we're going to do first is Control O or File Open. And then you're going to find an image. So you could do that through Flickr. I'm just going to very quickly, let's have a look. Let's have a look through some Pat photos. Actually, that's not Pat photos. Okay, so now I wouldn't ever choose a square image. I would definitely choose a landscape image so that you could get the most of the image in the left, and then the right side is just going to be faded out. So if you can see this photo here, there's a lot going on here and then not a lot going on here. So this might be a good idea for this. So all slides are going to be in the 16 by 9 format. So what that converts to in terms of a slide is 1920 by 1080. So as you can see here, when I go image size, 1920 by 1080. So what you then need to do is go over into your new photo and change the image from image size to be 1080 high. So make sure you have your lock button on so that when you change the height to 1080, the width is going to increase in the same ratio, the same proportion. So I'm just going to click OK. I'm going to double click on that to change it from a background to a layer. Depending on what version of Photoshop you use, you may not need to do that. But then what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to slide that over so I have access to then drop onto the image that I am going to use as my template. So right now I have a 1080 high image, so I'm just going to make sure my cursor function is highlighted. I'm then going to click onto the image, then I'm going to Control All. Then with my cursor, I'm just going to click on the image and drag it over. So I've just dragged it and I'm going to drop it onto my image. So now as you can see, this layer is above all the others, so it's going to block everything out. What you want to do is drag that layer to where it should live. So you can, if you want, hypothetically delete that background layer, but what's important is that it's just below the layering and it's above the other image that you want to block out. So then that's pretty much all you need to do. What I would do is, while I've selected that photo, maybe it makes sense to move it over a little bit. Maybe I decide this image isn't actually a great image for it. Until you kind of get it on the slide with the text, it is a little hard to know. But depending on which event this is, you know, the functionality of this photo, given that there's a lot going on the left, and then it's easy to fade out everything else on the right, makes it a great photo to do this for. So then what I would do is I would simply save it as whatever I'm going to call it. So I'm just going to call it test slide right now. What I would do is I would save it in Photoshop, but then you've also got to save it as a JPEG, because that is, well, that's what I'm sending to Now Productions now, and it's up to you guys to figure out how you get that into your system, whether or not it's a PDF or a JPEG, but I would assume it's probably JPEG. So that's it. That is all I have for you. If you need this font, if you wanted to have them look the same as the in-room slides, I'm happy to send you the font that I'm using. You will need to upload that into your Photoshop. But apart from that, hopefully you have everything that you need. Thanks, love.